have come a long way from an era where people went where money was to a time, our time, a time where money comes to us. The financial inclusion journey in the Kingdom of Eswatini has been the result of the collaborative effort and commitment of the various stakeholders in the successful implementation of the first National Financial Inclusion Strategy.
The Central Bank of Eswatini has been actively developing various policies and guidelines to foster financial inclusion in the banking sector since its participation in the Alliance for Financial Inclusion and the development of the National Financial Inclusion Strategy in 2017. We strongly believe that including a larger portion of the population in the formal financial system will help us achieve this goal. Through financial inclusion, we can reduce reliance on informal and unregulated financial services, which are often risky and costly. The work to create a conducive environment to support financial inclusion is ongoing. In this context, and at a very high level, the following are the guidelines and policies CBE has developed to foster financial inclusion in the banking sector. The establishment of the FinTech unit in 2018 within the bank demonstrates its commitment to innovations to ensure the development of relevant, appropriate, and diverse financial services and products to meet the needs of all segments of the population of Eswatini. The launch of the first FinTech company is testament to the commitment of the bank towards the provision of innovative financial services. In 2018, the Central Bank of Eswatini established the Market Conduct and Consumer Protection to perform its protection function over the financial services providers under its regulatory and supervisory purview. The unit is also responsible for public awareness and financial education on banking and financial services. The bank has witnessed a proliferation in the provision of digital financial services and products from the banking and non-banking sector, such as mobile money and e-wallets. As a result, there has been a reduction in the percentage of the excluded population from a target of 27% to 13%. A true milestone indeed.
Manje kulesikhathi lesanyalo siyajabula ngoba phela imali sesiyithola emakhaya etinqingweni. Asisavuke ekseni sodeleza etinkundleni sidelezele imali zishone ilanga sibula na indlala. Sibanjwe nathi igebengu etindleleni masibuya. Nyalo sesiyithola ekhaya sihambe siyothenga boshukela etitolo letidudayo.
The bank issued a circular on simplified Know Your Customer requirements to address barriers to accessing and using financial services, especially for the low-income category. This requirement has enabled consumers to open banking and mobile money accounts with just an identity document. The bank in 2024 has already issued the same to onboard the forcibly displaced persons. The CBE introduced guidelines on banking charges, fees and commissions number 5 of 2020 for financial institutions to offer at least one no-frills account to the low-income segment. Bank issued the Agent Banking Guidelines number 6 of 2020, whose main objective is to provide a framework for agency banking in the Kingdom of Eswatini, thus providing banking services in the remote areas where banking services are not available. And this has increased access to financial services for those who would otherwise be excluded. Since the establishment of the Eswatini Gender Inclusive Finance Roadmap in 2022, the bank has made considerable progress in the development of a sex disaggregated data framework and reporting templates to address gender gaps and obstacles to financial services for women.
The journey of women around financial inclusion has been a very long one. Basically, reflecting back before 1995, that is the discovery of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, where women's rights were realized, including economic rights of women. Women were financially excluded. Women were financially excluded in terms of ownership of properties that would enable them to generate income for themselves. Women were generally excluded from finances due to unavailability of appropriate infrastructure. But fast forward to today, women are financially included through policies, and gratitude to our government that has ensured that economic policies or any policies that speaks to economic runs of the country include women. They include the voice and including the participation of women. Women are now included through improved and digitized infrastructure. Women are now having access to banking. Women have, we are aware that the movement of finances has now advanced to a digital space. So women, especially in urban settings and a bit of rural settings, women can now run their transactions, move their finances at the comfort of their home through the improvement and access to digital platforms. We do acknowledge, though, that not all women have reached that level. Hence, our offices are still here to ensure that those gender gaps around the financial inclusion of women are addressed.
Similar gains have been realized in the micro, small and medium enterprise sector, which has embraced the principles of financial inclusion.
Our department, the micro, small and medium enterprises, focuses mainly on the development and promotion of businesses. One of our strategic pillars is access to finance, so which basically we address issues of financial inclusion. So traditionally, commercial banks have been providing finance, and now recently also non-bank financial institutions are now providing finance to businesses through our guarantee facility that is with the Central Bank of Eswatini, which is a small-scale enterprise loan guarantee scheme.
I also got to know about the bank guarantee scheme through my mother, because she used to work at Swazi Bank. I didn't have anything as security, so it serves as security for the loan.
We also have other various financial support services provided by other institutions such as the Youth Enterprise Revolving Fund and also our Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Fund, which is at Eswatini Bank, and the Informal Traders Revolving Fund with FinCorp.
Swaziland is a youth population of 72%. So as a result, you can see that now it's no longer a choice to go or to decide to do entrepreneurship. It is now a career choice. It's not an option, in fact. It is now a career choice. The fund was to try to bridge the gap between the lack of access to finance to the youth, to the young people. Access to finance to youth, I think there are a lot of myths around that. The youth are a high risk. Youth cannot access funds, especially through the traditional banks or the commercial banks. So I think the reason being, they do not have legal restrictions, they do not have assets, they do not have a lot of things to serve or to support their story or the funding or to meet the funding requirements to say. Our requirements are not so stringent, as we do not require any collateral, we do not require any deposit from the young people. We are funding a business idea.
I actually had a dream in actually construction industry, which actually I couldn't do because actually I couldn't have collateral to actually ask for funding from the bank. And then a friend of mine just helped me knowing youth fund, which actually helped me with actually proper business plan to actually go apply to actually them actually certain capital to actually start my actually first project. My actually first project was around Tubung, and I could actually be able to actually hire people and staff around 10 to actually 15 people, and actually helping also like helping the actually company to have its own machinery to actually work. It has actually changed my actually life because like before my I was not like employed, and now like I'm self-employed, running like the business which actually feeds around 15 like families on actually temporary basis.
So basically, all of these schemes are aiming at providing affordable finance to businesses in the small, medium, and enterprise sector. So what we have realized over the years, it is that the appetite from banks has not been very high in terms of providing loans due to the high risk of funding small enterprises because of the high mortality, which is basically very high in the first 2 years. So when you look at that, also the World Bank in their report recently indicated that our small enterprises are funded at about 18% of the total in terms of the numbers that are provided with finance, and on the global average it is at 28%, which shows that we have obligation to make sure that we increase that kind of financing that is extended to our businesses. So basically, in terms of financial inclusion, we would just say we really need to make sure that we advance loans to businesses so that they can contribute to economic growth as the backbone of the economy for the country, and they provide employment, reduce poverty, and also ensure that there is social stability.
Talking of high mortality, SMMEs are considered high risk as they lack collateral and until recently had no hope of any insurance cover.
To support access to finance for unbanked MSMEs and smallholder farmers, the Ministry of Finance is implementing a pilot project. The pilot project is called Financial Inclusion and Cluster Development, shortened FINCLUD. This is a 6-year access to markets and access to finance project which is supported by the government of Eswatini and the International Fund for Agricultural Development. Its main goal is to ensure prosperity and resilience for rural MSMEs. This will be through the provision of collateral support through a financing instrument for risk management and insurance cover, which is particularly agricultural insurance. Since FINCLUD is focusing on agricultural value chains, climate change and its effects currently experienced in the country have driven the financial institutions participating in the project to prioritize provision of insurance products. The partnership the project has with Lidwala Insurance and Eswatini Bank has therefore culminated in a pilot of crop insurance product with farmers who have accessed loans from Eswatini Bank under the financing instrument. This product therefore addresses the issue of high cost of premiums on individual farmers, which tend to compromise viability of businesses. Therefore, the FINCLUD project is piloting the group cover to ensure lower premiums that are affordable to all farmers.
We are an insurance company that is a particular product which we believe is available for people who have been left behind in terms of financial services. Basically, it's a product that promotes financial inclusion. That product, we call it crop and livestock insurance. It's a product that the Center for Financial Inclusion has purchased with Lidwala, and we are hoping that as time goes, we're going to have a number of Amaswati.
CFI comes in, becomes the collateral. So you can access any finance with the help of FINCLUD. You go there, FINCLUD will access everything that you do and tell the bank that this person can qualify for the bank for the loan. And another fear on the women's side is that we are not well educated on how to access the finances. So that is when FINCLUD comes in. But FINCLUD starts by educating you how this thing works. Then women have this fear that they can't do anything because they have to go and ask money from their husbands. So now if you are able to access loan, then there's someone here who believes in you, like FinClut, to help you. Then I think it's a big tool to farmers. Now we have to remove this fear in these women, the fear of the unknown. Especially in my business. My business is a male-dominated business. So when you come in as a female, the first challenge is that you are a female. We grew up knowing that cattle, cows are for men, are for fathers, for my husband. So now when you go there as a female in a crowd, we've just changed the world, that anything is possible and anything is doable. I'm sure if we have a good cluster and organization, when you come to FinClut and access the finance, everything will be fine. And on the agriculture side, the agribusiness is still going there, we're still continuing. And I'm currently building my own abattoir, which was approved by the Ministry of Agriculture. That's the future for me going forward.
In what it describes as food sovereignty, the Ministry of Agriculture is taking a pro-financial inclusion approach as it pulls previously excluded small farmers by the bootstrings and provides seed capital.
The Eswatini Agriculture Development Fund was established by the Ministry of Agriculture after realizing that some of our farmers, if not most, are actually incapable of getting loans from the usual financial institutions. The high-risk activities or projects tend to be down in the list. So we realized that farming or agriculture in general is also down in the list because it is a high-risk business. The time within which you must return the funds is very limited for agriculture.
The Financial Services Regulatory Authority sets policy and regulates the non-bank services sector, which includes microlenders and insurers. It also carries the mandate for the protection of insurance products consumers.
The Financial Services Regulatory Authority welcomes the conversations and the developments around financial inclusion in the Kingdom. As the FSRA, we have journeyed with partners and stakeholders in our space to entrench the right behaviors and the right consumer education initiatives that we need to support our mandate. As an institution that supervises non-bank financial services institutions, we have noted some key and interesting developments, particularly around the insurance space, where we have laid a framework on microinsurance, which has supported insurance entities to come up with innovative and inclusive products at the right level at entry of our financial services provision. The authority has also established a FinTech Arc unit within the research department to try and assess and implement a very innovative and realistic delivery of financial services products supported by the FSPs that we license. These fintech solutions are aimed at ensuring that we do not need to be a big institution, we do not need to develop and invest a lot of resources, but at your level of operation you'll be able to provide products for our consuming public. As an integrated regulator, as part of our strategic imperatives, we've also set up a functional approach into our supervision, where we have set up a market conduct department and redesigned the delivery of financial services education or literacy that we roll out to the space that we supervise. In this, we are at the core trying to ensure that the safety and delivery of the financial services products that we supervise are at the level of and they do not bring much harm to the space.
My name is Lebo Vilagati. I work for Eswatini Multipurpose as a helper or office assistant. This cooperative was established by women in 2007 and was registered as a credit and savings cooperative as the women desired to develop themselves in order to secure their future. We are a legally registered cooperative that is being regulated. We are based in Buhleni under Mayiwane in the Hoho region. When they saw us develop and move to town, and also realized that we were registered and were regulated, more people took up membership. As the number of members grew, it then became necessary for us to find better ways to administer members' funds. Other challenges relate to the risk inherent with growth. We now handle large funds as we have many members. We approached Mobile Money to find out how they could help us. We discovered that Mobile Money now works with ePayNet, which allows one to make bank deposits in the comfort of one's home. ePayNet has been very helpful. When you make your deposit through Mobile Money via the ePayNet app, the money reflects on the system, and all I have to do is get a statement and do reconciliation.
Within the Market Conduct Department, we're also a dedicated unit now that looks at financial inclusion and consumer education. That those approaches are entrenched in the strategy and the mandate that we have, and also are responsive to the space, the financial services space, and alternative redress mechanisms that are there.
The journey continues as we look forward to the Center for Financial Inclusion rallying partners and pooling resources towards the successful implementation of the second National Financial Inclusion Strategy.
Life has been made so easy compared to the old days we're coming from. Now you can send and receive money in a minute. Oh, what a beautiful time to live. Usukele mpuloma, imali yayihlanganisa abantu. Usukele mpuloma, imali yayihlanganisa dive. Imali ndilinga yindibilishi, phela ngiyobe ixabanisa abantu. Imali ndilinga yindibilishi, phela ngiyobe ijabulisa abantu. Financial systems of the old days divided us more than they united us. Back then the world was divided according to money line. It's time to make sure that everyone has access to fair and just financial system. We can all do something to change lives. From a time when people went where money was, to a beautiful time when money comes to the people. Oh, money. Usukele kale, imali yayihlukanisa abantu. Usukele kale.